The Diamond Bandit looks a lot like your daddy.
Well, maybe,
Based on the video and several eyewitness descriptions, our police artists have drawn this sketch of the Diamond Bandit.
The Diamond Bandit is your daddy.
Welcome back to Kenan and Kel with Adam and Aaron. I'm Adam.
And I'm Aaron.
This is the podcast where we go through every single episode of Kenan and Kel, the 90s Nickelodeon sitcom.
It was really just the greatest hole in all of the review podcast media archive, you know?
Yeah, we people were begging for this to be made.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Especially Adam and I.
When I first made the email account, it was already filled with emails of just people begging. Long, short stories written about how there's a need out there for this service of ours.
We are happy to satisfy that need.
This is episode number 8. Well, I'm sorry. 7. Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself. Diamonds are for Roger. Roger being Kenan's dad.
Mr. Rockmore.
Correct. A lot of big laughs, a lot of... but I feel like we didn't reach the highs of last week.
No, but there were really some funny moments. And then there were some moments that are just like you like scratching your head. You're like, oh, all right.
I think it's an episode that deserves an hour-long breakdown.
I think so. Yeah, we're ready to get into it.
All right. Why don't you start us off here?
Sure.
In our everyday lives, we don't think about things that are too hard to comprehend. We don't think about just how old our universe is, or how there are 200 billion galaxies in the observable universe, or how the moon probably broke off from the Earth due to an asteroidal impact. We don't comprehend complex geometry or quantum physics or the universal wave function. These things make our minds numb with confusion. They make us feel small when we measure up to the unimaginable world we live in. Instead, we tend to take reality on the chin, seeing things for what they are now. It's easier to think this is how things always were than to think about how we got here, or even where we may be going. When we see a gold wedding ring, we see it as a beautiful sign of commitment between two people, a symbol of love. We rarely wonder how all of the gold in the universe came to be. How gold comes from the collision of two neutron stars that make a supernova. And we don't think about how many supernovas it took to make that one wedding band. We don't think about the gold as scarce as it is and how it ended up here. We just see the gold. And when we see diamonds, we see their geometric beauty, their pure crystal lattice. We know it took a lot of time, heat, and pressure to form, but we really don't understand just how much. It takes between 1 and 3.5 billion years to make a diamond. Will that change how you look at them? No matter how you see diamonds or gold, there's no doubting their value to human beings, how we desire to gift them to others as a sign of our undying love for them. Roger Rockmore is no exception. A hopeless romantic, Roger wants to show his wife Cheryl just how much he loves her. But his son Kenan is in a different pursuit. A pursuit not of love, but of justice.
All right. Let's join Coolio on the big red couch. Big orange couch. Let's join Coolio, Kenan, and Cal on the big orange couch and get into the show.
Giant maroon sofa.
So the episode begins with, as is shortly pointed out, Kenan by himself, Cal nowhere to be seen.
Yep, I love Kenan's outfit here. He's wearing
That was my first note.
I'm sorry. If there are any listeners, I'm sorry that we're just going to be laughing through this. Kenan's wearing a giant t-shirt that has a K on it. That's like, almost looks like it's embroidered. And then he's wearing a denim vest with jeans.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
And like a chain.
It's, like I said, it's weird because I pointed out last time, his like date outfit, I'm like, that doesn't look weird. But then every now and then you see something that's baffling like this. almost Canadian tuxedo, but like 90s vibe.
Yeah, I mean, we got the double XL T-shirt, sleeves down to the elbows. Anyways, love it. I love to see it.
Yeah. So Kenan, as he mentions, like this happens much too often. They're already getting kind of meta about it, that Kel is not there, and I guess a stagehand arrives to inform Kenan what the situation is.
He says that Kel is napping.
Yep. And then to which Kenan's like, napping?
And then the producer, or whoever it is, replies, yeah, napping. When you sleep for a short period of time.
That's an ongoing joke that happens throughout the show. It's the not over-explaining, but explaining a word where it's troubled.
Yeah, it's like it's definitely been done before, but it's still really funny.
It's one of my favorite comedy styles. Comically missing the point is what it's called.
Yep. I mean, that is the show in a nutshell.
Kel does that very frequently.
Like that's his style. Yeah.
Yeah. How do they resolve Kel napping?
Well, the stagehand goes at the request of Kenan, and he rolls out Kel, who is napping on a bed, which is conveniently just, side stage, or backstage or whatever. And yeah, he rolls him out, and Kel is still asleep.
Sleeping for real, believe it or not.
Yep, definitely.
Yeah, it's just... but yeah, no, he's sleep talking.
Yep, having a dream. Yeah, he says, "Kiss me, Mr. Kangaroo."
That goes in line with he had mentioned a pony story in another intro, where it's just, I guess Cal has a bunch of animal friends that he frequently refers to.
Yeah, remember the pilot when I think it's the pilot when they have all Kenan stuffed animals like on the bed.
Yeah, he's that's a low key aspect of Kel, his relationship with animals.
Yeah. I do want to point out something. This is the first time we see Kel without a hat on.
Oh, I think all right. In the pilots, he takes it off for dinner.
Oh, mate. Okay. Anyways, I just wanted to say,
sorry to anti-fun fact.
He has he has a great fade in this episode and really nice waves. So nice job, Kel.
Yeah, he's not a full cartoon where he always has a hat on, but it's a definite staple for him.
Absolutely.
But yes, Kenan wakes him up.
Yeah.
With a whistle. What I like is that after he blows it, he like wears that as a pendant.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
he like becomes like a gym coach.
When Kel wakes up and rolls out of bed, he's wearing a brown tank top with these gigantic PJ bottoms that just have like different like sporting equipment on it.
Again, sometimes this show doesn't look like the 90s, but their outfits right now are very...
Definitely.
Yeah, so he complains about his Teddy being all in shock.
Yeah.
But then they shortly get into the show.
Yep, and Kenan takes Teddy, who is of course Kel's stuffed animal, and he starts walking away. And Kel says, "Don't kidnap my bear. That's bear napping." And anyways, it's just in the moment, kind of very hectic. So much is happening. Kel's trying to keep up, and anyways, then the curtains open and we see the Rockmore household.
Yes, and doing yet again a new like family activity, which I love.
It is.
It's not a one-trick family.
No, very creative.
They play games, they play Monopoly, and in this one episode they're doing a puzzle.
This is such a good opening scene.
Yeah, definitely. It's a 1,000-piece puzzle, and Mr. Rockmore exclaims that, and they're about halfway done. He says it's been taking them 3 months to get this far.
Yeah, okay, and then it's he is throwing a fit. Honestly, he is so angry at this puzzle. He's like he
jamming
screams
pieces together.
He says none of these pieces fit. It's like he is such high blood pressure. It almost like makes me start sweating. But anyways, yeah, he gets the TV remote and tries to slam in pieces. It's comical.
Mm-hmm. Kyra goes to tell on him, and then he chases them out. He chases her out upstairs and out of the scene.
Yeah, he is terrified by his wife, apparently.
Kel pulls up with a pizza. a box, makes plans with Kenan, and Kenan says, "Oh, just place it anywhere." So what does Kel do?
Kel disassembles the puzzle and puts it in the box and puts the pizza right where the puzzle was.
And he gets up and goes to the kitchen. Kenan's dad returns and comically has a very slow scene where he winds himself up to sit down and start doing the puzzle again.
and then he, of course, loses it.
Yep. Nope, the puzzle's not there. He freaks out, starts yelling, and
Who's responsible?
chases Kel out of the room. I think it's the best Roger versus Kel of the show so far.
Yeah. Kel says, "Oh, I'll just be leaving," and then, Mr. Rockmore is like, Kel's trying to get out the door, and Mr. Rockmore is just slamming the door like each time Kel opens it.
And Kenan has he says he's got his whole life ahead of him. To which Kel, said for the second time in the show, says his secondary catchphrase, "I'm just a child."
Oh, that's the best Kel line. Oh, it's
a good one.
It's so good.
But he Roger leaves in a huff. He says that he'll never do another puzzle again.
Yeah, we knew that was coming from the get-go. I don't know why it was.
Yep. Kenan and Kel settle in, start watching some TV. And do you know what they first turned the show onto?
It sounded like a knockoff of SpongeBob.
Oh, nope, not quite. So,
what was it?
Family Matters.
Oh no!
There's the nerd character Urkel.
Oh, it's
that's the. Yeah, he says, "Did I do that?"
Oh, that's funny. I heard the laugh, and I was like, that kind of sounds like they're trying to make it SpongeBob. But anyways,
they're not there yet. SpongeBob's got 3 years on.
Oh my gosh, you're so right. Oh,
Urkel is definitely a SpongeBob proto form. Yeah. So, but they change the channel, and then they start watching what show?
America's Criminals.
Yes. Which I want to say, kind of right off the bat here, what did this remind you? I did this in a recent episode.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Yes.
What Drake and Josh episode is this?
The Theater Thug.
Yes.
It's almost like, it's not the same, but the same exact idea. Yeah. Anyways, still funny in both cases.
Right. So, they're a show they enjoy watching, and they reenact a scene where from a guy in Mississippi who committed a crime. Yeah, it's kind of a not a huge laugh.
No, but it's really it's so Kenan and Kel-esque. You go back to All That days. They're just reenacting this scene. They're playing characters. Kel is at one point, Kenan's driving the car, and then he drives away, and Kel's holding onto the car and trying to keep up, and it's very funny, slapstick.
Yeah, you can definitely feel all that roots in the kind of little skit.
The other skit they did so far this season was also on the same family room couch, which is that's their spot,
Was also them driving a car.
Yeah, it's okay, that's not that creative, but we respect it.
Going back to the same well. But yeah, after that they learn about a new bandit in Chicago.
The Diamond Bandit.
Yes, who has recently stolen $3 million worth of diamonds.
You know what? I'm sorry, go ahead.
In today's currency, about $4.9 million worth of diamonds.
Oh my goodness. What's funny is I was with some friends recently, and we watched a really bad Netflix movie about this person who stole $3 million worth of diamonds. So again,
really,
yeah, again, Kenan and Kel making its way throughout the culture, even in 2020.
Wait, do you think that guy was? It really? He saw Kenan and Kel, and he was like, "Oh, that's a great idea."
Absolutely. I think
so easy to break into a diamond store.
The only way to know for sure is to ask him. So until then, I'm just going to assume that Kenan and Kel was the inspiration.
Yeah, that's fair.
No, it's not. Okay, anyways.
So they show some surveillance footage of the Diamond Bandits. To which Kel points out,
Kel said, go ahead.
The Diamond Bandit looks a little bit like your daddy.
And then they zoom in a little bit. And
the Diamond Bandit looks a lot like your daddy.
And then they show a sketch of the Diamond Bandit.
Which, that sketch is amazing.
It looks like an alien.
I want to hang it up in my apartment.
Anyways,
yeah.
to this, Kel of course replies, "The Diamond Bandit is your daddy."
And yeah, no, Kenan, and that kind of begins the dynamic of this episode, where Kel is insisting that Kenan's father is a criminal. He's immediately convinced after watching the show, where Kenan is a little more skeptical.
And they zoom in. I love this. They zoom in on a family picture of the Rockmores, and Kel yells like, "Why'd you do it, Mr. Rockmore?" And then we transition to the next scene with
he starts singing, "Bad dad, bad dad."
Oh yeah,
what you gonna do?
Yeah, what you gonna do?
Well, also, which I think also happened in the pilots when they're arrested by the cops. You're
right.
He's doing the bad boys thing again. Clearly, watch the pilots, and he's like, "Oh, okay, I'll just do this again."
Yeah, he's like, "Let's just make the pilot a little bit better." You know what's interesting is my theory is now that Kel actually invented the Bad Boys song, and you can fact check me on this, but I have a feeling that they got their inspiration from watching this episode.
You're gonna have to do a lot of fact checking after.
No, we don't. No,
there's some bold claims on your end.
What are you talking
this
about?
Episode. Yes, but yeah, we transition into the Rigby's grocery store. They're restocking some cups, and Kel has a very good line here where he says, "You better wake up and smell your daddy," which also goes back to something that Kenan harped on him about earlier in this show.
Oh yeah.
About do I tell you about smelling people?
Yeah, that was like last episode. Yeah, last episode. Wow, we are drawing all of these good these correlations and whatever you call them.
Or maybe the writing team just goes back to the same couple wells.
Yeah, I mean they seem to be working.
Yeah. So yeah, they start arguing about it. But meanwhile, something else happens in the grocery store.
There's an old lady. Now, help me out here, Adam. Is this the same old lady that was trying to buy a cucumber once?
I think so. I think she was in the Hemingway episode.
Yeah. She's trying to buy the 89-cent cucumber or something. Okay, anyways, this old lady is trying to buy this can of peanuts.
And Kenan and Kel just kind of out of character, totally ignore her.
They don't even look at her.
Yeah. At one point, Kenan engages in conversation with her, but they just, to comical levels, they ignore her. Yeah, as I was saying earlier, Kel is acting a little differently than he normally does in this episode. He's really just on Kenan's case about his dad. Very, very convinced and
very concerned too. He's like looking out for Kenan's family. What if he is a bandit? What could happen to the family? Anyway,
is his mom involved? Was his bike stolen by their dad?
Yes, that's his other theory. And then we have something that's different here. We break up, what's usually a long scene with a clip from another scene happening at the same time.
Yes, and I don't quote me on this. This is one of the first times I think we break away from just Kenan and Kel. It's a scene.
Oh,
it's broken with a
right.
scene that has neither of them in it.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think it might be worse because of it.
Absolutely.
Nate's Jewelers. Mr. Rockmore and Kyra, Kenan's little sister, arrive at this jewelry store. Which is run by Roger's old friend Nate.
Yeah, they seem to go back a long ways.
We don't know exactly what, and if I recall correctly, this setting and Nate's come back in some later episodes. Pretty cool.
I don't remember, so maybe, yeah.
But in this intro, it's not. It ain't great.
Nope.
They try to have a dynamic between him and Kyra, and they're just it's not really working.
You know what's funny, and I didn't pick this up till on Amazon. It has a little thing that says trivia.
Oh.
Yeah. Nate actually calls Kyra Tyra.
He doesn't recognize her immediately either. So. He's old as we know, the two things we know about him.
Yeah, Kyra keeps making jokes about him being bald and old, and it's kind of funny. But she's very cynical. Very, I don't know about cynical, but very like, on his case about his age.
Yeah, throughout that whole kind of scene, they flip back and forth, but the bulk of the Nate Struhler scene is that Nate is showing for their wedding anniversary, right?
Yes,
14 years?
17.
17. Wow. Oh, hang on here.
Oh, can we do some math here? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've been tracking some of the numbers leading up to Kenan parents. And so if Kenan's 15 right now, that means, hey, they're married 2 years before having Kenan.
That checks out.
Yeah, I think that's well aligned. And yeah, in 1996, which means they were married back in 86. 2 more, 1975?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't do math well on the air.
That's fine.
That doesn't sound right.
No, 19. Hang on.
No, it'd be a 7-9. 1979.
1979, right? Yes. So
Please don't pull that math thing again.
Well, what's weird is that it's old enough for them to. They're still kind of cool parents, but the first movie they watched was Casablanca. I don't really know their timeline.
Anyways,
here.
They're mysterious characters. Anyways,
yes.
Yeah. So Nate is showing them some diamonds, and Kyra picks out this one that she really likes, and Nate says it's $2,000, to which Roger, is emphatic that he can't afford it. And then, the strangest, trick in the book, the strangest, business tactic I've ever heard of, is rolled out here.
Nate proposes that he take the diamonds home to think about it. But he won't budge on that $2,000 price tag. We're old friends. I'm not going to lower the price for you, but here, why don't you look at them to determine later?
Why don't you take them home, get acquainted with them, see if you really like them. I guess the trick here is, maybe this is an old jeweler trick. It has to be to bring them home, and then your wife accidentally sees them and then says something, and then you can't back out of it. So it's kind of like a sly move, which is strange.
He's got a pretty good strategy there.
Yeah, pretty good strategy. But again, they say they're old friends, so I don't know if Nate's of course a salesman. So, anyways, we could go into a whole I could write a whole essay about Nate, but
I've got 2 questions about Nate's jewelers. One, what jewelry are they looking at exactly? It's just a black box of diamonds.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And there's X number of diamonds in there. It's because later when they discover it, they open up, they're oh, diamonds. Not talking about what is exactly.
Not $3 million worth of diamonds.
Another interesting thing I want to say about Nate's jewelers before we leave is that, did you notice what he has on his wall?
No.
There's a vertical section of clocks.
Oh no. Oh, in the tuna episode.
Yeah, like in Luna Tuna Corp. There's 4 clocks. I don't know why they need to know the different time zones.
In different. Oh my gosh, whatever. You're so right. That it's just why it's just a local jeweler, and then there's a grandfather clock next to it.
Maybe they're selling the clocks.
Nope.
Maybe it's a jewelry and clock store.
Oh, that's really funny. What's funny is that they're actually set. I'm looking at them right now, and it's definitely something 45, right? So, but the minute hand is all on 45, and then the hour hands are on different ones. So nice set, but why?
Yeah, there's a.
Anyways.
I'm curious if I gave this. I usually give these episodes 2 watches. If I gave this a 3rd watch, I would definitely be looking in Rigby's to see if the time lines up. Because I think there's a clock in Rigby's normally.
Yeah, maybe.
But yes, back in Rigby's, the old lady is having a terrible time trying to get money for these peanuts.
I'll pay you $100 for these peanuts.
Yeah, she's like on top of it, like shouting at it. That's a really great moment. Because then she turns to leave with the peanuts, and Chris stops her, who is just entering.
Yeah, Chris walks in, and he's like, he says something about her age and how these old people are always trying to, use their age as like a, whatever, like, like a reason to steal and to get things for free. And
yeah, he totally ignores her too when she tries to explain it. So this poor woman was just ignored this whole episode. Her name's Ethel, if I recall correctly. Ethel is just having a bad day.
Is this Ethel? Is this the same woman that Kel kissed?
Yes.
No way. Oh,
I believe it's the same old lady.
Oh my gosh! And they just ignored her.
Yep. Kel just, kiss her and leave her.
Wow, pretty good product placement here too. I see a nice saltines box. So that's
really?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and
no Google Puffs?
No. I don't know if they got much of a sponsor deal there. Anyways, so the way this scene with Ethel, if that is her name, ends is she elbows Chris in the gut and then karate chops his neck and then walks away.
Was it a karate chop or more like a closed fist?
I didn't think of karate chop until I was just explaining it, but it sounds much better.
Yeah, Chris goes on to explain that she sucker punched him, and there's a real reverse elbow hit him in the chest before that.
Yep, absolutely, it was ugly.
So yeah, I'm happy that she defended herself and kind of came out on top in a way. She get her peanuts, but she was the victor in a way.
Yep.
But yeah, the scene ends with Chris. No, not ends. The scene continues with Chris telling Kenan that he saw his dad on. He thought he saw his dad on the show.
America's Criminals. Yep.
And I like what he says. I think I saw your daddy.
Yeah. He calls him his daddy. Everybody calls him his daddy. It's just great. Because he is such a large and scary man.
It's very funny to refer to him as his daddy.
Yep. Anyways, in walks Mrs. Rockmore, his mommy,
and they to buy some detergents. But yeah, he asked her if there's anything weird about their dad, and she says that, well, he shaves his back.
And then Kenan makes these like really funny like vomiting faces. I always love that side of Kenan where he's just like making these vulgar horrid looks on his face.
I loved last episode how he was just bodily reacting to all the situations.
Yep.
So he's the slapstick grows for sure.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's pretty much where the scene ends. Talk about looks being deceiving. They go back to the Rockmore household.
Oh, you got to add something to Cal facts that we know. His bicycle was stolen.
I did not note that. Yeah, that's good.
Yep, because at the end of that scene, he asks Mrs. Rockmore if Mr. Rockmore stole his bicycle. But yeah, I mean that was earlier in the scene too. But yeah, this is another fact about Kel. He was a victim of robbery.
So we learned two more things about the cast here. Kel's a victim of robbery, and Mr. Rockmore shaves his back,
as well as his head. How does?
Oh, you think so?
How does one shave his own back?
That's really tough, right?
I don't know.
You have a good wraparound mirror system.
Not even. I mean, your shoulders would have to be so like. I don't. Anyways.
Yeah, he's got to be pretty flexible to pull that off.
Anyways, we go back to the diamond store.
Yep. And they. We mentioned this.
Oh,
They work out the deal.
Yeah, they work out the deal. They go home and everything. Yeah.
They kind of race each other. They both arrive home at the same time. Kenan and Kel hide out in the kitchen while Mr. Rockmore tries to hide the diamonds so his wife doesn't see them. And he hides them under the sofa cushion. And then this is a really weird decision of the episode. He goes upstairs. Kenan and Kel discover the diamonds, but then he goes upstairs not to be seen again for the rest of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, the episode's named after him.
Uh-huh. And I was hoping that the climax would end like he would get involved in some way. or something like that. But no, it's just the Kenan and Kel show after this, which
Yeah.
makes sense. But
So up to this point in the episode, this is about midway. Really like good plot development, really good story, like really funny. But then it's like the next decision Kenan and Kel make, it all kind of starts to spiral, in my opinion.
Sure.
So they decide to go to the precinct and ask a few questions.
yeah, learn a little bit more about the situation and how they can best help Kenan's daddy. So they meet some fun. They meet some characters in the community. But first thing, did you hear what Cal says once he enters the store? Once they enter the precinct.
Oh yeah, he's asking Kenan, like, what if they find out about the time we held up that grocery store?
Yeah.
And then Kenan replies, we were 3 years old and we stole 2 pieces of bubble gum.
Yeah, held up the grocery store.
Which is funny. It's funny, but I'm just, I was sitting here wondering, how on earth did that transpire? I get the joke, I get the humor, but I don't know. It seems a little lazy writing. That's like 3 years old. Are you kidding me?
3. Yeah, right.
Anyways, it was funny. I'm being too critical.
They take a seat, wait for the guy at the counter, and there's 2 people on the bench with them. One's like kind of rugged, and like another guy's nice in a suit with some glasses on. He's got handcuffs, and they're asking like, "What's up? Why are you arrested?"
You got to put that clip in if you can.
Hello.
Hi there.
They arrested you?
Uh-huh.
What for?
I was just fixing a guy's teeth.
Oh, so you're a dentist. No!
And then they just like fall to the ground and like crawl away.
Yeah, they explode in response to him.
Yeah, and they're standing there scared. And then they go over to the phone, and
it looks like there's a lady on the phone.
Yeah, and then they tap the lady's shoulder and turns around, and it's a man dressed as a woman.
Which is if we've been clocking some bits of episodes that don't hold up in 2020.
Yeah, this would not hold up in 2020. Not even close. No,
especially if I with like Kenan's like gagging afterwards and
yeah, no. This is totally dated.
That's yeah. So eventually they get to the counter and talk to the, I guess, officer in charge.
Yeah, this guy who's like so busy he's like practically sweating. He's holding a clipboard.
He felt very New York police to me, a little more than Chicago.
Yeah,
not that I know the difference, but
I get that. Yeah, I'm surprised they only have one clock on the wall.
Right. They gotta know what time it is everywhere.
I just want to take a moment to appreciate like the set, right? So there's a basket with some papers in it, and they're like a little messy. There's like a stapler on the desk. So there's like papers underneath the shelf. Like whoever did the set did a really nice job of making it look like a real working office. Maybe it was.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
We can clock this later, but I believe this set's reused later on as like a
okay, good.
Maybe like the lottery episode as like the lottery counter. We'll get to that. So yeah, they start asking some questions, and I think it's a pretty. I would say it is a pretty genuine breakdown of like kind of the officer's reasonable with them. Kenan's trying to work out the best way to help out his dad, and what he determines is that the Diamond Bandit will go away to jail for a long time, but if you return the diamonds, things might be a little easier on him.
Yeah, this kind of confused me, because even somebody who gets accused of stealing, $3 million in diamonds, if he's found guilty, the officer said he's going to rot in jail. I don't think that's how long he would be in jail. I don't think he would be in jail forever. I don't think it's a life sentence for stealing that much money.
Yeah, I think it depends on if like the diamonds showed up, or
right.
was it the amount of money that they lost, and
yeah,
and stuff like that. As it ties into insurance and all that kind of stuff. I think it's a good point of the, hey, if he turned himself in along with all the money that he stole, you can expect a more reasonable sentence. Yep,
makes sense. And then this, of course, gives Kenan an idea.
Yes, back at Rigby's, they're discussing this plan. to basically go back and to return the diamonds.
Yep.
Under the cover of night.
Yeah, and Kenan, of course, says this plan is foolproof. And then Kel responds, yeah, all your plans are foolproof. Right? You have all the proof, and I'm the fool. I end up being the fool, or something. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, Kenan's just like, that doesn't even make sense. Which, let's dissect that a little bit. You have all the proof. You have all the steps. You followed everything, and Cal is the one that gets into trouble. The mental telepathy episode, I think, followed this.
Yep.
where Kenan, perfect plan, right? And then Kel ends up ruining everything. So he has a point in a way.
Absolutely.
But yes, Kenan tells him to get some clothes that are all black, and then we'll suit up at my place. Brief scene, but it kind of, you have to separate it from this next scene so that we have the great reveal.
Yes, the great reveal. Dun, 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 dun. So we're thrown into Kenan's room, and when I say thrown in, it's because Kenan's room has gotten eccentric. There are thousands of things hanging on the wall. It's just chaos, absolute madness.
Yeah, I wonder what, like, how they determine that, like, continuity wise. Do they just say, like, I found a whole nother box of stuff that we can just put on his room. Oh yeah, let's just do that.
It's like baseball cards and posters and just the most like cluttered. Oh my goodness!
It went from like kind of cool to just like, oh my god, it's overflowing.
It's the most stuff that's ever been in anybody's room.
Yeah.
But I do like how the socks are always in the same, like hanging out of the same drawer, in the same way. I do like that.
So Cal arrives with a big duffel bag, and following Kenan's instructions to bring black clothes, he delivers 2 scuba suits.
To which Kenan responds, "We're robbing a we're not robbing. We're breaking into a jewelry store, not a submarine."
It's my favorite line of the episode. Not a submarine. It's speaking of Drake and Josh. That's in line with that, right?
Oh,
like that's a real Josh line.
Oh, it's totally. Yep.
Then Kel has a good follow up. Must you continually damage my self-esteem?
Yeah, that was like, that was very. Kenan said, "Can't you do anything right?" And then Kel said that, and I was like, I was almost like in tears. I was like, "Oh, this is really this." I'm thinking forward to all of the times when Kenan and Kel have like, a rough patch in their relationship and their friendship, in real life as well as in the show, and I'm just like, dang, this is deep. Like they would be if they had scuba equipment on. They would be deep underwater.
So the one thing that I do like about it is that they have their disagreements, but they're still like bros.
Yeah.
Because Kenan goes through with it. He'll happily dress as a scuba in the scuba outfits to appease Kel.
And to get his wishes. He's always making the best of whatever Kel gives him.
Right. So it cut to the interior of the jewelry store, which there's.
Oh my gosh.
We gotta talk about this.
Oh yeah. Okay. So anyways, we start off with, somebody falling from the ceiling, and of course it's Kenan.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
the ceiling.
Yeah. This is where it gets a little like they wish they had 2 episodes.
Right.
Because
they didn't like explain it any more details than that. Like Kenan even says like, "Oh, we're gonna come in through the ceiling." And it's like, what? How? What are you doing?
They just find a way to get through the vents and break into the jewelry store. First off, I guess it's the same jewelry store as America's Criminals. Second off,
it looks the same, yeah.
It's a jewelry store. Why is there no alarm system? Third, the store just got robbed for $3 million. Why is there not like a little extra security? I don't.
Yeah.
Anyways,
refuting a few of those points. You could I guess assume maybe it's a different store. It's clearly the same sets, but maybe it's a different one in the area, and they just got lucky, unlucky, I should say. The second one is the vent thing makes no sense whatsoever. They're 15. They're both 15, and somehow they just MacGyver get into there. And the other one about the alarm, I think there is an alarm. And it's triggered when Kel throws his gear and breaks the glass.
Oh, maybe.
Because, as we'll get into in a sec here, police officers do arrive on the scene.
But we'll get there.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to take a moment, really quick. I just want to take a moment to just think about, the evolution of Kenan and Kel's plans. We go from very innocent, trying to get famous, by Kel having the special powers and mental telepathy, to climbing the Sears Tower and trying to get a bunch of money with the tuna, and now you are just breaking into a jewelry store.
Kenan had a good point about how they're doing the right thing by breaking in. They're returning things that they thought were stolen. And so misguided, and they should just, I would sooner go in there when they're working and just leave it on the counter, right?
Yeah. Why didn't they just ask his dad if he stole them?
Well, I guess there's a missing chapter of the story where they did that.
I have a feeling,
because they saw him hiding the jewels, right? And this is actually, it reminds me of another Drake and Josh episode. Do you know the one I'm thinking of?
I don't.
It's called The Affair.
Ah.
Where they think that their dad is having an affair.
Right.
The episode, it's a lot better set up than this one, because the episode kind of holds its cards to his chest. You as the audience think that he's having an affair throughout the whole episode along with Drake and Josh.
Right.
Then towards the end, it's it's a misunderstanding, but not soon enough for them not to mess everything up. Similar to that is the same situation of there's miscommunication with their dad. That's just kind of and he's sneaking around. He's not responding wrong. I noticed another parallel there.
Yeah, totally.
Cal rips open a giant hole in the ceiling.
Yes,
because
he gets stuck because he's wearing the full scuba suit, the scuba suit. He's wearing flippers. He's wearing goggles with a snorkel. He's wearing his backpack thing. Yep.
Which the goggles and snorkels wouldn't come with a scuba suit.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you would definitely need those separately.
Yeah, or you would have the actual tank.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The scuba tank with the hose and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, where did Kel get the scuba suit? These are all good questions.
I can see him maybe rent them. People do that.
Where does he have the money? He doesn't work. Why doesn't Kel work? Why does Kenan only work?
Yeah, we never. They get into that in later episodes. So yeah, he doesn't. He's not known for actually having a job.
Maybe his family has a lot of money from the circus and whatever.
I remember what his parents' careers are, so I think that's very possible.
Okay.
I'll leave that for a surprise in 2 years when we get to it.
We'll get there. Anyways, so they, Kel throws the stuff, breaks the glass. They walk over to the safe, which appears to be open.
And I know we've been breaking down the set here.
Yep, I know exactly what you're gonna say.
How is this is that the bank safe? The safe here is twice the size of a bank safe.
Why? How were they gonna get into the safe?
It's such a tiny jewelry store, and it's 12 feet high.
Has an industrial vault. Yeah.
The door is a yard thick of metal.
They clearly have a safe that's big enough for every single jewel in the entire
Chicago.
No, the whole Midwest. That is enormous.
Right, yeah. That's another thing. How many diamonds are $3 million worth of diamonds?
Not that much.
Because Kenan, Mr. Roger fit in a small box $2,000 plus worth of diamonds.
Yeah, 2,000 and 3 million. Quite different.
Yeah, so I'm doing the math right here. 3 million.
Why are you still doing math during the podcast?
It's right here. Yeah, so it'd be the volume of like 1,500 of those cases.
Oh my.
If like individual diamond, that's not enough to justify that safe.
No, I mean, it would probably be like a couple boxes, but I don't even think it would be that many, though. But let's get back to this. So
Yeah.
they walk into the safe, and Kel closes the door behind him like any, good-mannered child would do.
I like his he's got good reflexes. Just like he's responsible. He'll close the door when he enters a room.
Doesn't even have to think about it.
Yeah, that's some classic Kel for you. Like I said early in the episode, he's kind of acting a little different. That's a Kel move for sure.
Absolutely.
And the scene inside the safe is hilarious. Highlight of the episode for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, so it's very dark, of course, and they have a flashlight, which is good. So they turn on the flashlight, and Kenan's like looking, like he like shines it on Kel, and then he turns around and there's somebody standing there, and he says, "What's up, dog?" or something like that.
What's up, dog? Yeah. Like really casually, and they start screaming.
Yeah. They both start screaming, and
Kenan's like pointing the flashlight, showing their faces as they scream. Which is really good for. It's a dark room. The only comment they have is their voices in that flashlight, and they do a good job.
Yeah, it's really, really good. And then Kel, of course, yells, Kenan. I think maybe that's the Diamond Bandit.
Kenan, I sure wish the Diamond Bandit was your daddy. Which is
just
in my. So I saw this as a kid. This episode I remember from back then, and I later watched it on DVD. But I was certain that's like where the episode ended, like because that's a great line to end on. That's then locked in the vault with the bandit. But no, it continues and some more jokes happen. I like how Kenan addresses the bandit.
Yeah, Mr. Bandit, Sir Diamond.
Yeah, he's very angry at them for shutting the door.
And then we hear some police sirens in the background.
Yep.
Cut to outside the safe with all the lights on, and the police are, they have a stethoscope and they're opening the safe.
I can see that's a professional safe cracker.
Yeah, why don't they call the jewelry store and have them just open the safe?
Yeah, maybe they quick checked the footage and saw that people are actually in there right now, and maybe they're concerned that they're going to run out of air. I don't know.
I'm out of answers. Anyways, so Kenan and Kel, squirm out once the safe is opened, and they said he did it, or something like that, and then
I like how time has pause for them inside that vault. Like they're unassailed. I would at least expect to see them kind of beat up a little bit, or being chased out by the Diamond Bandits.
Yeah, have the guy be a little angry or something, or held hostage or something.
Yeah. As soon as he comes out to the light, he has a very weird expression because he's coated with jewelry and necklaces and stuff like that. And then when the police see him, he does an expression that kind of says to me "Aw, nuts."
Yeah, darn.
Darn it.
You meddling kids.
Yeah, as he's arrested.
Yep.
So, yeah, then the police officers are mad with Kenan and Kel, and they kind of are recounting the story, and they go into the safe, and Kel gets to the point where he goes, "Yeah, and then I close the door like this."
And you can guess what happens next.
They get locked into the safe.
And
so,
that's the episode. We exit, of course, with the outro, and Kenan's wearing a rubber jacket.
He looks like he's dressed like a fireman, like a fireman stripper almost.
Like if you took if you took a fireman's jacket and you made it into
like a Halloween costume version.
Yeah, with short sleeve.
But for like a revealing female Halloween costume, but sized for Kenan. So yeah, it's real
Precisely.
weird. And the bowling shirt pattern to it.
It's great. So the same stagehand as before walks out and hands Kenan
a bill
for the roof that they destroyed.
Yeah, the ceiling. $600.
Yep.
I got hefty chunk of change. That's their biggest like single cost so far.
Yep. It doesn't go against Rigby's, but
besides the Google Puffs.
yeah.
I should say.
For sure. Yeah, and then Kenan says, of course, I can take care of this and get us some free clam chowder at the same time.
To which Cal says, "Clam chowder gives me a rash."
Yeah. He says,
Not
what does he say?
Not the first mention of Cal's rash.
Oh, really? Are you keeping?
Yeah,
There's a lot of Cal information in this episode.
Yeah.
I thought we were gonna get a lot of Roger information, and it doesn't seem to be the case.
No. So back in the Hemingway episode, he mentions that he's trying, like, one of his life goals is get rid of my rash.
Oh, you're right.
So I guess you can put those two things together and say that he got that rash from clam chowder.
Wow. He's allergic to clams or clam chowder ingredients.
I guess. Oh wow, that is an actual fact. He's allergic to shellfish.
Oh, really?
Maybe is.
Oh.
Yes. I'll clock it throughout the show, so we can refer to it in this weird tiny callback thing that we do.
I mean, maybe that's why he likes ham so much.
Because he can't
eat shellfish. Yeah.
Oh, here it goes. He's out.
Yep. Kenan.
So there's two questions I have for you. I think this is going to be one of our more complicated "Whose fault is it?" segments.
I'm ready.
But before that, I really want to say that this kind of goes back to the last time the police got involved in the pilot episode. But aren't Kenan and Cal heroes?
Yeah.
It seems like they got in trouble with the police, but they caught a bandit who stole him $3 million with the diamonds.
Okay, why is the bandit still there? Why is he trying to steal more diamonds? He got away once. $3 million isn't enough? You can't.
Well, clearly, he got caught on camera. He's not a good bandit.
And he goes to, it looks like the same exact
same place.
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, that whole part, just like, all right, writing is a little bit, but it's still very funny. I really love that scene where they see the bandit. It's like, it's so classic.
Yeah, that's definitely the strongest peak of the episode. But yeah, all right. So let's get into it. Whose fault is it this week? Kenan, Cal, or some combination of the two? I decided I'm going to start counting this as kind of like fractions. Adds up to one. Last episode we landed on it being Cal's fault primarily, but Kenan has a piece of that pie. So I have here like 25% Kenan, 75% Cal.
Yeah, what do you think?
I'm really feeling 50-50 on this one.
Yeah, because Cal keeps pushing it's his daddy, and they both are in mutual agreement that Mr. Rockmore is up to no good. But then, the plan, is
Kenan's.
The plan's Kenan's. But, Cal kind of just goes along with it.
But Cal makes the hole in the roof, and he shuts them in the vaults. But shutting in the vault was actually a good thing.
But why did they get in the store in the first place? They broke into a store. That seems to be Kenan's doing.
Yeah, I guess what I'm getting at is that if they actually broke in and got out successfully, then they would have been in like a worse situation. They would almost be in a worse situation than being locked in the vault.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because they just cost Kenan's dad's friend like $2,000+.
Yeah, I wonder what the what their whatever case would look like. Well, because they did break in. And they did break the law, but they were going to break the law for a good reason, and it's very complicated for sure.
The way I see it is that I'm assuming that they got the diamond sorted out. Back to his dad and Nate. he was so memorable. I had to really. It was on the tip of my mind. Nate. And Nate. They would have been out like $2,000, so $600 is like a better case scenario.
Absolutely.
And they did a great service to the city of Chicago, so I'm calling it 50-50.
That works.
Last time we had 50-50 was the tainting of the screw.
Yeah, 50-50. I think it's 60-40 Kenan.
Kenan's more at fault?
Yeah, I think Kenan's more at fault if we're doing percentages.
All right.
or fractions.
In the same way that our ratings have broken like the 0.5s.
Yeah.
It's these numbers are just going to get more and more precise as we continue here.
Yeah, sorry about it, people. We
It's
know
fine.
you you all rely on these
This is important to get the empirical numbers on who does more damage by the end of the show.
Yeah, I mean, the statistics are important for your future research projects and
Oh yeah, we're going to truly find out the breakdown here.
Yep.
So yeah, the main price that they paid was the $600, which may be resolved off screen, but I'm counting it as damages done to their world. Not Rigby's in particular. No peanuts were stolen. Also important to note.
Yep.
Rigby's came out on top.
Yep. Even though they were about to get $100 for him.
Yeah, right. They may have technically lost Rigby like $100.
Now, if she comes back to the store, I will be surprised because, it's like that should be like the last straw for somebody shopping at a store like that.
I think she's a regular. I don't want to say it's like her old lady brain. but yeah, we'll get into that. All right, so kind of recapping here as we get into our final ratings. Well, what did you think of the episode as a whole?
I really liked it. I thought there was a lot of really like just funny moments, really like quick-witted humor, especially in the first half. The episode kind of got complicated, with the whole plot development. But I mean, like I think I just really like seeing Roger angry. That's like my favorite. Like he.
I was thinking that maybe. I was thinking like punch-ups of this episode could have. Just having more involved in the second half of the episode.
Yeah.
Would have been really cool.
Yeah, they definitely ran out of time. It was kind of like the pilot. Like they wanted to do too much, and then it was just kind of, I mean, what happened probably with the they definitely recorded both the Diamond scene and the initial Rigby scene at different times, and they cut them together because they were probably running out of time.
Yeah, I could see a more a different cut of this episode. Like almost like a Christopher Nolan style, like you get the full story later about how they see Kenan's dad doing all this nefarious stuff, and they have their theories. They find the diamonds, then they later find out it's a misunderstanding.
Yeah, I bet somewhere deep in the bowels of Universal Studios, there's the uncut edition of Diamonds Are for Roger. I would love nothing more than to get my hands on that, but
sure. So all right, let's get into our ratings. IMDb has this as a high medium episode at number 25 on their list with a score of 7.7. So yeah, I think 25 out of like 60 something feels right. Out of 10 bottles of orange soda, what would you give this episode?
I want to say 7, but I feel like I give everything a 7, so I think I'd bump it up to an 8. Maybe 7.5. I think since we're doing the halves, 7.5. I really enjoyed it. But still, just like some big plot holes.
Absolutely. I told over this a little bit, tired, and I'm keeping it at a flat 7. Not that 7's bad. I give the same thing to Hemingway, which I talk about all the time. Better than the pilots, and not close to Most Sweater Blues of last episode. But yeah, no, that 7 feels strong. You have a lot of 7s on here.
Yeah, sorry. I'll get more critical as the years go.
Hey, that's fair if that's how you feel about them.
I thoroughly enjoy. I'll watch them and I just enjoy them because they're fun. They're not supposed to be these remarkable shows and episodes with stories, and
it's to keep you entertained for a good 22 minutes.
Yeah,
and it accomplishes that.
Yeah, it's great. I like it.
Okay. Next time, do you want to? What episode we'll be getting into?
Dun 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 dun. I'm pulling it up. The Cold War.
Yes. Which is that's a classic, well-remembered episode.
Kel has the worst case of the flu. Kenan tries to cure him with a homemade remedy consisting of just about everything in the kitchen. To their surprise, Kel is in perfect health the next morning, giving Kenan an idea.
The Cure for the Common Cold episode.
Yes, I do remember this one. It's very, very funny.
I can't wait for it. So, okay. I think another good one in the bank. We'll be tackling in the near future here some emails and feedback from the team, from our loyal listeners.
Yeah, thanks.
Do you have a fan name yet for them?
No.
Well, we'll have to think on it.
Fantas. Like orange soda.
Fantas. All right, and until they take their own identity for us, then we'll call them Fantas.
Okay, good. Thank you for listening, Fantas.
Yeah, we'll talk to you next time.
Oh, here it goes.
Thank you for listening. You can send us an email at KenanCalPodcast@gmail.com or leave us a voicemail at anchor.fm/KenanCalPodcast. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all at KenanCalPodcast.